Welcome to the Extraordinary Purpose Podcast, where we explore some of the truly difficult questions and challenges that parents and their families face every day. Whether it's the sometimes painful process of parenting teens and young adults, navigating relationships with your partner and children, or you discovering your purpose in relationship with yourself, we will bring heartfelt and vulnerable conversations to the table to support and empower you. Our mission is to help you create a lifestyle full of love, passion, adventure, and influence. Here we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Extraordinary Purpose Podcast. I am Chris, and right to my right, as usual, I'm such a lucky man, is the confident and empowered Erin Verdis.
Thank you.
What's up, sweetheart?
Hey, babe. How's it going?
It's going great. Are we ready to do this?
I'm ready.
Yeah. So this is a big topic because I'll give everybody a little bit of a preview before Erin shares what we're going to talk about today. But this is a tool or something that Erin has been talking about with me now for several months. Mm-hmm. She brings it up all the time. And I got to tell you, it really works. It's super helpful. And so Erin said, you know what, this is something that we got to talk to all of you about. So today's a really big day.
Yeah, I was excited to share about this. How that is in life. You read a book or you learn something from somebody else, and then it takes a while to really take hold.
Yeah.
So this is a concept which has become a tool that Chris and I use a lot, that I've been using in my life a lot lately, especially. But it's something that I learned from a mom in my daughter's class. Gosh, maybe 3 years ago now, which is crazy. But I'll give you a little background really quickly. Yeah. So my daughter's class, my kids went to Waldorf education for a long time. And so in that education, kids stay with the same teacher in class, or supposed to, traditionally from 1st through 8th grade.
Yeah.
So I had been with this class for a while. Anyways, we found out that there was some things going on with the teacher. It was really unfortunate. She was getting ready to retire that year, so it was a lot of parents coming together to talk with the administrator of the school about their disappointment in some of the things that had been going on in the class that we didn't know about. So there was a lot of mixed feelings. There was a lot of parents who felt really sad that they thought they knew this teacher better. They still had a lot of love for her. I still love her. She was an amazing woman. Yet there was this stuff going on, and it was I think a lot of parents felt just very torn about, how do I feel about this? I don't know how to view her. And this one sort of younger mom in the class just spoke up with this great wisdom and said, somebody told me once that two things can exist at the same time.
Oh.
And I just sat there and I listened to her explain this, and I get chills just thinking about it, because there was this one mom in particular who was crying, being very defensive of the teacher. And she said, this teacher, I'll just say her name, Joanne, we can know that she's been this wonderful woman and this great influence in our kids' lives and in our lives as mothers, and that she struggled the last few years with a lot of knee pain, and she probably should have retired a little sooner, and she was crabby with the kids, and it's a terrible way to end things with her. But both things can be true. And it was really powerful. And I sent her a text message just last year and told her how much that one little moment that she shared has stuck with me all these years.
It's funny how that works.
I know.
It doesn't take something like this big idea. Sometimes it's just a simple. Little comment. In this case, something that really stuck with you and that I know we now use all the time, because there's so many examples in our life, and we're going to get to them today. And we want for you out there to think about it too, because there are so many areas of our life where, you know, we just get stuck on these thoughts and these fears and these stories and this self-talk that literally holds us back.
Yeah, I think what you just said is really important. Oh, our kitty just jumped off the
Hey,
table.
Tiny. Say hi to the audience, Tiny.
What's going on? Go ahead and look at
what
the
a
camera.
special treat. Tiny Verdis is jumping up on our table. She's going to be hanging out for the rest of the podcast.
Yeah. Absolutely. So it's the story, right? And that was what was happening that day, is a lot of parents were getting caught up in this new storyline that had presented itself, when we didn't have to just go with that story. There were several different stories and several different possibilities. So, and some of you have probably heard this, right? This isn't anything I came up with. It's not brand new. It's that idea. It's a tool that we call the two truths, and we do coach on on it now with parents
Yes.
and teens and young adults. I've been talking a lot about it with my son, River, in particular, about some different situations, because what this idea does, or what this practice does, is it gives you freedom. It liberates us from being stuck on one storyline. It liberates us from holding, like being a victim and holding something over somebody else's head. When you can recognize that there are two truths, there can be good and bad. There can be gray area. Everything isn't always so black and white. It sets you free in a lot of ways, and it's really powerful.
Well, and that's what we want to do for all of us is let's go ahead and name the two truths as before we even get into some of the examples that we're going to share today and talk about our own personal stuff that's holding us back. But truth number one is it's that fear, it's that story, it's that overwhelm, that frustration, that anger, that self-talk that is probably repeating a cycle in your head, probably not just in one area of your life, probably in a lot of different areas of your life. And so as you're thinking, as we're listening to this conversation, like start to think about what some of those truths are that you've told yourself over and over and over again so that you now believe them. Yeah. You believe them to be true, and therefore you're feeling stuck. Yeah. And that's really the result of truth number one is you feel stuck. You feel like you can't move forward, like you're a failure. There is no way out. And that gets us to truth number two. Erin, what's truth number two?
Truth number two is that there is always opportunity and possibility for another story to come into play, that there is growth, right? What can be true is, where am I still growing? Where is there room to let the light come in? How can I see this in a different way? What else can I lean into? What am I resisting that's also very possible?
See, you just saying that gave me the chills because immediately I start to think about our business, our kids, our family, my own struggles. Yeah. And all of a sudden you go from feeling like, oh my God, I'm a failure. We're not doing enough. We're not successful enough. We're not making enough money. Yeah. Whatever it is, to all of a sudden just leaning into the possibility that there is a way forward. You know, that there are other choices, other ways of looking at things, and other ways of feeling about things too.
Yeah, and I think what Chris and I agreed on before we hit record today is the best way for us to relay this to you is to give a lot of examples. Yeah. So I think that we're probably going to be giving a lot of examples because, and then we're going to give you the process. Don't worry. It's not just our examples. We're going to walk you through the process to how to start really putting this into practice in your own life. But places in your life where this is so possible is all your relationships with your kids, with your partner, with your extended family, with yourself, first and foremost, with your past, giving new meaning to even traumas and really traumatic things that have happened to you in the past, circumstances, experiences, and then with your future. And that one might sound a little interesting, but when you think about it, when we have a storyline about what's possible for us,
or not possible,
right, cut ourselves off from even really trying. And Chris and I are all about having that vision for your future and knowing what's possible for you. And so there can be two truths, right? I don't know how I'm going to get there. I'm really afraid. I've never tried to do this before. I don't believe I can. And anything actually is possible. Yeah. So I want to share one that just popped into my head because I said I've been working on this with my son, River. And for parents who are a blended family, or maybe you're a single parent who has struggled with the other parent, this is something that I've been working on with my son, River, who's 18 now. And his dad moved away a couple years ago. He moved to another state and wasn't doing super well the year or two before he moved. Clearly some mental health things going on. We don't really know what, but he left and he hasn't seen River or his sister since. And it's been really sad for them, for all of us, really. Yeah. And then there's been some other stuff going on, which I won't get into on this podcast, maybe another episode, but a lot of things for this kid to have to process. My son, River, feeling sorry for his dad, worried about him, feeling a little bit like a victim, I'm sure, like my dad just left me behind. Sure. And so we had breakfast the other morning and we had this great conversation about that two things can be true, right? That your dad is not showing up as a great man or father right now. He's clearly got some stuff going on that he's not willing to work on or look at. And it's sad. And He loves you and your sister more than anything in this world. Underneath all of that stuff is still a lot of love for both of you. And there's still a good chance that he may come around at some point.
Yeah.
And that you don't have to sit and wait for that, but you can see both of those things at the same time. And I could just see the light bulb go off for him. Okay, this sucks, but he does still love me. Because it would be really easy for River to tell himself, my dad doesn't love me, or what did I do wrong, or why doesn't he want to be a part of my life, when that's probably not the truth at all.
No. And by the way, when we look at things from truth number one, one, it doesn't feel good. So it holds us back. It wears us down. Yeah. And we talk a lot about, too, we got to be at our best in order to move forward and to be our best self and to be there for our kids and be there for our jobs and all the areas of our life. But if we are stuck in these unhelpful truths over and over and over again, like we're not doing anybody good, but especially us. And anybody that knows Erin and me, we're all about helping parents become more empowered. And so if I had to summarize, like, what are we really doing here? We're empowering you. Yeah. We're empowering us. You're getting your control back, your power back over how to look at things, different ways of moving forward. There isn't just one way forward. That's the really cool thing about life that gets me excited, is that there isn't just a straight line. And back to your point about the future, like, who knows what's going to happen between River and his father in the future, right? And that's the truth.
Yeah.
A lot of things can happen. And so when you think about that in all the different areas of your life, like all of a sudden your mind starts to expand. And you start to get curious and you really start to lean into what some of those different possibilities are. Yeah. That's how we grow.
Absolutely. Chris, what's an example for you with Ben or William that comes to mind without thinking too much?
Well, anybody that knows me knows that you're probably not too much different, Erin, but we hold ourselves to pretty high standards as parents. I'm sure all of you can relate to that too. But Ben in particular was a COVID kid. He was going into high school right when COVID was happening. Now, anybody that knows Ben, and this has been this part of it has been really challenging for me, is Ben is on the spectrum. That's been hard for me as a father. It's emotional for me to even think about just how hard that's been for him. That makes me feel a certain way. Yeah. But I will also say that he's got social anxiety. He's got social challenges. He has communication challenges. And so as he's gone through high school, and by the way, straight A student, incredibly talented, incredibly creative, incredibly smart. There's so much that I'm proud of. But sometimes I get stuck in this truth number one, that I wasn't there for him enough. Because during that same period of time is when his mom and I got divorced. I tried to be there, but it's not the same when you get divorced. And if any of you have been divorced, that transition's not easy at first. It's the best for everybody, but in the moment you feel like you're failing your kids. And so I was stuck in that cycle of feeling like I wasn't doing enough, seeing Ben struggle mightily. He's still struggling. But then again, I can open up my mind to truth number two, which is all the things I just mentioned, which is Ben is one of the most talented and creative kids, hardworking kids that you'll ever meet. And I'm incredibly proud of him. He has an incredible future ahead of him. Yeah. When I'm stuck in truth number one, I don't see those things. Right. I think, oh my God, I failed him, so therefore he's going to be a failure. Yeah. And that's tough for me to even say, but that's how I feel sometimes. And even though that's not on me, that's not my responsibility, that's not anything that I can control, I try to be the best parent I can be, which is why at the end of the day, I just have to let go and just understand that Ben is going to be just fine. He's got an amazing future ahead of him. He's figuring things out. He's working hard at figuring things out, and I couldn't be more proud of him.
Absolutely. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, I love doing this podcast with you.
Oh, I love it too.
I think sometimes for Chris and I, it's like when we get super vulnerable and we actually can hear each other tell these stories.
Yeah.
We get so caught up in life and it gets so busy. Doing this podcast is a chance for us to
I was going to say,
connect sometimes.
We talk a lot about sacred spaces. I mean, this podcast is a sacred space. True. Because you're right. We're busy. pretty much the entire day
Yeah.
until you collapse at around 8 o'clock at night. And she does.
I
Like
do.
there reaches a point where Erin just passes
And I'm
out.
like, I can't anymore. My eyes, I just can't.
And
do
I'm
it too
sure
much.
there's a lot of moms out there that can relate to that too, and dads, but
Yeah.
a lot of moms out there that just, you get to a point where you're like, that's it. I have no energy left.
I'm done.
I'm done. But this is our hour or 45 minutes or however long it takes to like just slow down the world a little bit
And talk.
and think about things and have a really important conversation.
Yes, and be here with all of you, which is
Yes.
like our favorite.
That's right.
So let's talk about a couple other examples.
Sure.
For instance, Chris and I in business, or any of you, and this could be your personal business or work or anything around that area of your life. We all go through seasons,
Yeah.
and especially if you are an entrepreneur, you'll really get this, is that it's month to month. We never know. It's day to day, really.
It
Hour
really
to hour
is.
sometimes. But the truth is, when we look at our revenue and our success each month, some months are amazing, some
Yeah.
months are scary, and they're not so great. And Chris and I have been in a little bit of that season. The
Yeah.
last couple months have just been a little choppy for us. And so we have had to have a lot of these conversations. And so
Right.
that's why Chris, as I've been reminding him a lot, is luckily for the most part, when one of us is having a bad day and truth number one, and we're just stuck in like, this sucks and I have no more hope and I'm giving up and I'm throwing in the towel.
over.
We're not doing this anymore. It's
I
too
quit.
hard. Yeah, so we do. One of
Yeah.
us is there to like remind each other, the other of truth too. And so we've been doing that a lot lately, which is like, hey, yes, this is a tough season.
Yeah.
If you're in sales, entrepreneurship, or just at your job, you can go through months that are tough and know that you're capable as long as you're willing to do better.
That's right.
And that anytime things can turn around for you. And when you're stuck in truth one, everything's dark. It's black and white. You cut yourself off from possibilities and opportunities that the universe might present to you. When you can think about truth number two, all of that stuff is possible. And things
Yeah.
can turn around at any time for any of us.
Yeah. I think that's absolutely true. And I think the same thing can apply to your own personal life too. Mm-hmm. Because I know that from all the conversations we have with parents like you every single day, we feel this way sometimes, is that we're not doing enough and we're not successful enough and we're not traveling enough and all of these things. And this is work aside, by the way. This is your own passions and your own goals and your own future we're talking about. And a lot of parents feel disconnected from that. And if you feel disconnected from that for too long, you get stuck in truth number one, which is hopeless. Things are going to be this way forever. I'm never going to be happy. I'm never going to live out my dreams. Whatever those dreams were or are. And by the way, take a minute and think about what some of your dreams are, because that helps you open the door to truth number two, which is they're still inside there.
Yeah.
And you can still make the choice at any given moment to say, okay, let me get started on those.
Absolutely.
Is make that different choice. I always talk about like, what am I going to do different tomorrow? Like, how is tomorrow going to be just enough different so that I can start to reconnect with my future and my goals and my passions and things like that?
Yeah, it's always a choice. And I think at the end of the day, that's what this is that's the empowering part, is you have a choice. We always have a
Yeah.
choice. And let's talk about a big one too, is relationships, right? Your
of course.
partner, your intimate relationship, your marriage. And do you want to do this one? Do you want to give an example for you and I?
Oh my
Doesn't
goodness.
have to be specific necessarily.
Sure. Yeah. So I will just say that I think, so let me start with truth number one. All right. And the funny thing about Erin and I is so much time together that it's difficult because, everything kind of bleeds together.
Yeah.
And so our relationship from day one has been this, unified front where, I think that from day one, I've seen so much potential in us. So much potential and so much love. And I remember looking at you pretty much on our very first date, and just, we talk about your mind expanding and your dreams expanding. I mean, that's what happened. And that was the most awesome experience ever, but it was also the most scary experience ever, because I came from a very different type of relationship where it was a very, I'm not going to use the word small, but it was more of like a fixed mindset type of relationship.
Yeah.
Where it was like, it was what it was. It was very safe and very comfortable, and there was not a lot of risk. And then all of a sudden I met you, and that just completely blew up. And so that automatically opened up truth number one to me, which is, oh my God, I'm not going to be enough. This is going to be way too hard. We're never going to be able to live up to what I see, which is this big, exciting future and this amazing love story and all of these things that is a big part of who we are, I believe.
Yeah.
But then there's truth number two. And I'll have you, how would you describe truth number two for us?
Yeah, I think for us, babe, it's about that we are always reminding ourselves that there's room to grow.
Yeah.
And I think when couples get stuck in feeling hopeless, this isn't working, right? We don't communicate anymore. There's no sex life. There's no this. There's no that. We're at the end of the road. Is that there's always a way. There's always options.
Yeah.
There's therapy. There's couples coaching. There's always ways if two people are willing to get back on track. And so I think it's just really remembering that it's, again, it doesn't have to be black and white. There's always that beautiful sort of gray area where there's always possibility. And then the other truth is that you can expand all possibilities. You don't have to stay in a relationship that's
true.
Really miserable and uncomfortable. And as you said, like kind of that fixed mindset.
But see, that's the thing about this whole process, which we're going to outline the process right after we're done with this story, right? Because I think people are wanting it. They want to be able to apply this and start to put themselves into a better position. But yeah, this is really about really helping you not only identify what some of those stuck points are in your relationship, in your life, and your work and career, and with your family and your kids, but it's putting you into a position to be able to make more empowered and confident choices. Yeah. Erin's right. Like, it's not just saying like, okay, you know what? I'm okay with this. If you're in a bad relationship and things aren't really working, it's just giving you a way forward. And that way forward can look like a lot of different things. But to have choices and to put you into a position to be able to make those choices and take action, that actually is a very liberating feeling. Yeah. Because up until this point in time, you've just been stuck. Yep. And being stuck is a miserable experience.
It is. And that's in my past relationship, I remember just sitting and crying and asking, what do I do? I don't know what to do.
What do I do?
I'm so unhappy. This is miserable. I can't go on like this. And then when I finally just made the decision, and it wasn't easy.
No.
And we're not at all trying to make it sound like these are just like light bulbs that go off and we just run to that next choice. It's hard work and it's a lot to consider. But when you finally do make that other choice, or you let the other truth in, like Chris just said, so much opens up and the universe meets you in the middle. You find ways to make changes. You find ways to reach the next goal. You find ways to work with that other truth. Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about the process a little bit. The way this works is when you start to notice that you are going into that truth one. If you're thinking right now about a relationship or a past experience or something in your life, try to come up with something where you're like, yep, I'm stuck in that story. I'm stuck in that truth number one. The first thing you want to do is you want to make that shift from reaction to reflection. And so how do you do that? What you want to do is, you've heard Chris and I say this before, is that whole idea of checking in and noticing. You need to pause, right? We need to take a breath. When that truth comes up, and it's probably going to trigger something, anger, pain, frustration, guilt, shame, all those sort of negative emotions that come up when we're stuck in that first story or that first truth, and you notice it and you check in with it. You don't judge it. You don't have to change it that second. You just notice. And then you ask yourself that question, right? What's going on within me right now? What's really happening here? Noticing that. What am I ignoring or resisting that's also possible? That's huge, right? Yeah. That right there that's when things start to slowly shift into truth too. And then here's the big one. What truth can I lean into now that can liberate me? That can liberate me and that other person, even if you feel like you hate somebody in that moment. Right. And if you have that first story, that first truth, you probably have those feelings of hatred and anger. But what can I lean into? What's another truth that's possible that first of all liberates me or you and can liberate the situation and that person as well? Wow. It's so powerful, you guys.
So let that sink in. We're going to do a quick recap just to make sure everybody's got it. So the good news about this tool, the Two Truths tool, is that it's simple. Okay. Things that we talk about need to be simple. Otherwise, we're not going to do them. Right. Let's be very clear.
Adaptable.
It's adaptable. It's something that you can practice every day in every area of your life, especially in the areas of your life where you are stuck and you are in pain and you're feeling overwhelmed, or you're just feeling like, you know what, hopeless, whatever words you want to use to describe it. But Erin's right. It starts with identifying it. Okay. If you don't identify it, guess what? There's no change possible. Yeah. Okay. And all of this requires slowing down. Okay. This is something we've talked about. If you're a fan of this podcast, you know that in order to open yourself up to these different possibilities, you have to be present. You have to get out of the distractions and the outside world, and you have to reconnect with yourself. This is where you have all the answers. I'm pointing to my heart. Okay, that is where you have all the answers. But if you're not connected with that, you can't see those answers. You can't feel those answers. And so slowing down and noticing and asking yourself some of those questions that Erin just said, that slowing you down and you're getting curious. And we've talked about curiosity too a lot. Curiosity just means you're opening yourself up to different possibilities. Yeah. That's powerful, because remember, the other truth is for you to take forward for the rest of this week and the rest of your life is there's always more than one possibility. Yeah. It's not a straight line to the finish line, whatever your finish line is. And we want you to get clear on that too, but it's not a straight line. But to see the other paths, you have to ask yourself some of those different questions. And then what was the third one, Erin?
Is responding.
Responding. Yeah. So not reacting. So we react when we're stuck in truth number one, when we're just locked and that thought is consuming you, or that story is consuming you. You're reacting out of pain. You're reacting because you're getting triggered. But truth number two allows for you to respond because you've slowed yourself down. You've reflected, and you've identified some different ways forward that are meaningful to you, that are more hopeful, that are more inspiring, that are going to make you feel better about your situation.
And so some really important parts of your life that this can influence is your emotional resilience.
Oh, right? Yeah.
You learn to become so much more emotionally resilient because you recognize that you have that resilience.
That's
when
right.
You can shift from truth one to truth two. Forgiveness is huge, you guys. It helps you to forgive yourself, let yourself off the hook. You know, when you recognize that, yes, I made a ton of mistakes when my kids were growing up or whatever. I have to do this with myself all the time. And I have grown, and I'm such a better mom today because I've worked so hard on myself. That's my inner dialogue. You can forgive yourself, and you can learn to forgive even the hardest people from your past. You can release shame and guilt. That's huge. It weighs us down so much. You strengthen all the relationships in your life when you can recognize that people aren't out to hurt you. I just believe this, and I know sometimes Chris and even my mom sometimes like, you forgive too easily. I believe at the core, we're all human beings are good people with good intentions. Life happens to people, and people don't know how to do the two truths. And
that's true.
They make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
You can live a more calm and intentional life when you have the two truths tool in your life. And so it's so deeply transformative when you practice it, you guys. And part of it is some coming up with some new dialogue, right? Really practicing some new mantras and affirmations. When you're looking to give new meaning to some past experiences, it can be as simple as, that was a very traumatic thing that happened to me, but it doesn't define me. And I am learning and growing from that every single day. It can be that simple. And it's just a practice that you have to really hone in on every single day.
I just want to emphasize the word practice, because this isn't something that you figure out the first time you do it. You practice it all the time in all the areas of your life, and you learn and you grow when you keep figuring this out. And so make this a ritual. Make this something that every day you're spending some time with, because it will change your life. That we do promise you. Now, Erin, what are we going to include in the show notes today for all of our parents out there?
We have like a one-page worksheet to help get you started on this in case you're driving and you couldn't write some of this down. There'll be a worksheet link in the show notes that you can work on this week, and grab your journal or notebook, and there'll probably be some really powerful questions for you to answer in there.
Okay, everybody. Wow. Babe, another one. How do we keep this streak alive? Tune in and find out. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much, sweetheart. That was a great conversation. And we hope you all have a great week. Talk to you soon.
Bye, guys. Have a wonderful week.
See ya.
We are so thankful for you and your beautiful family and hope you found something inside today's episode that brought you hope, inspiration, and most importantly, a path forward. If you're interested in evolving your relationship, giving your kids the most important gift of personal growth and development, or are a mom looking to reconnect with your confidence and become empowered in all areas of your life, then schedule a discovery call with us today. Our mission is to help as many families as possible find their purpose, and that starts with you. See you in the next episode, my friends.